Yo, 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 what's up, everybody? Look, let me get that a little bit brighter for you. I feel like I'm dark and getting a little too dark around here. What's up, everybody? How we doing? How we doing today? And I feel like that's a little too dang on bright. Let's kind of tone that back a bit. How we doing? I've not done a live stream downstairs before, but I feel like on a day like today, I don't want to be so damn cooped up in the office. Drink your water, or I'll ban you from the chat. But we have another red day in crypto, guys. And so I just kind of wanted to jump on. I have a couple guys fighting MMA fights in a couple hours. So I got to roll out not too long from now. But I wanted to just jump on, hang out with you all, kind of just go over the state of the crypto market, give my opinion on kind of what's happening, what I'm expecting for the next couple months, answer some questions for you. And yeah, I think that's about it for today. This isn't going to be a super long stream, but I haven't been able to hang out with you guys in, I think, a couple of days. So just wanted to jump on stream and yeah, just kind of do our thing. We got the puppies around. That's not a puppy, that's a cat. We got a couple of animals that you guys will get to meet today. And yeah, a bit of a chill day today. How are you guys doing? Welcome in, welcome in. Stein R, all right. MMA and boxing enjoyer. I love that name. Daniel, Decrypto, You Gaming, Crazy, Chino, Ed, Crazy. I see you. Welcome in, everyone. But yeah, so what we're going to do today is we're going to kind of just go over the state of the market. I'll kind of give you guys my general thoughts of where the market's at, what I'm expecting next, what I'm doing now. I'm going to show you my exchange link. I'm going to show you the school link as I do, guys. That's what we're going to do today. Welcome in, welcome in. Mickey, Allison, happy to have you here. You will not do much as usual. Probably not, no. Not doing much has saved me from getting dumped on the last 3 months. You know, it's funny. A lot of people always say, Tyler, you're the most boring YouTuber ever. You never do anything. I'm like, oh, I mean, me not doing anything has definitely worked out the last 3 months. I'm happy to keep doing it if need be. Happy to have you all. Happy to have you all. Sunil joined the school. We love to see it. All right, baby. So look, what we're going to first and foremost start off doing, I'm just going to do a market analysis. I actually haven't really got to look at the market today. So what I wanted to do is I'm going to show you all, like, okay, if I start my day, my cat is about to push the camera over. Whenever I start my day and I want to do a little bit of market analysis, like what's my general process? How do my thoughts form? I felt like that would be kind of a helpful thing to do today, just so that you guys can on a daily basis start forming your own opinions. You know, a lot of people would say that, hey, Tyler, I've been waiting for your video. I don't know how to feel about the market. And so I was like, you know what? Why don't I just show you guys what I do when I want to form my overall general thesis for the day of what I'm expecting and what I'm looking for. So we're going to start off with that. And then, yeah, we're going to start off with that, and we'll just kind of flow from there. So how about we get started? I do want y'all to say hello. You be nice, by the way. Hey. No, gone. Never mind. I will introduce you all to the animals as they come around. Why not? Get to meet the kitties while nothing's happening. But look, let's go ahead and get started, okay? Let's go ahead and get started. So looking at the market today, whenever I start my day, and I'm going to do some technical analysis or market analysis, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start off by quite simply just looking at the charts, right? In a season like we're in right now, and I'm just getting the stream pulled up on my phone so I can see the comments, but in a day like today, kind of in the season that we're in right now, what I want to do is I want to start off by getting an idea of what Bitcoin's doing. What you got to remember is this, guys. We are in Bitcoin season, likewise. The reality of it is that we are in Bitcoin season, okay? And while we are in Bitcoin season, it is incredibly important that you watch what Bitcoin does. Why? Because Bitcoin is going to tell you what the rest of the market is doing. Not only are we in Bitcoin season, at least at the time being, we're getting deeper and deeper into Bitcoin season. If you look at something like Bitcoin dominance is climbing. And what that means is that Bitcoin is taking even more control of the market. And the more control of the market that Bitcoin takes, the more that we are going to be in Bitcoin season, or the more Bitcoin is going to impact the state of the market, okay? So what I first and foremost start doing is I just look at Bitcoin and I get an idea of, okay, where are we at? When I start my day off, I will generally look at the daily time frames, okay? I think the daily time frames is the perfect balance between like short term and long term, okay? And what we can see is I'll go ahead and I'll look at this and I'll say, okay, so the picture is pretty clear here. If I look at the previous structures that I had drawn on, I had obviously my descending channel, which you can see here, and I had my 50-day moving average there, and I had my golden zone there. And what I can see is that, quite simply, we saw Bitcoin's price push all the way up towards this massive resistance zone. We then saw the bear step in and start forcing Bitcoin's price back down as a result of the U.S. economic data that we got on Thursday and Friday. So on Thursday and Friday, we got news that the economy was in a bit of a weird spot. Not a terrible spot, but a weird spot. Consumer spending came in lower than expected, which is a very important thing to look at here in crypto because when people are willing to spend money, they're often just as willing to invest money, especially into things like altcoins. And so consumer spending has a ton of correlation to actual altcoin investment liquidity. Consumer spending came in a bit lower than expected. Okay. In addition to consumer spending coming in lower than expected, PCE data, which is the Fed's preferred way of gauging inflation, came in worse than expected, meaning that prices were climbing at a higher rate than expected. And so when you combine these two things together, the market didn't like it. We saw crypto falling. We saw the stock market falling. We actually saw most global markets falling as well because people were just a little bit worried about that. Now, I've told you all, I'm not all that concerned by it. Jerome Powell even came out and said himself that it wouldn't be a shock to see inflation kind of getting a little bit weird as a result of Trump's tariffs, but he doesn't expect the tariff inflation, the tariffs impacts on inflation to last forever. He does think it'll just be a temporary thing. And so, although I'm not concerned about it, the market is obviously concerned about it, and that is why we are seeing crypto prices pulling back. Now, as we're seeing crypto prices pulling back, something very clear is playing out. And I think it becomes much clearer when you look at the 1 hour time frame. When you look at this, it's easy to start to get into the mindset that, oh, this is some terrible, bad move, blah, blah, blah. But the reality is that it's actually it's a rather healthy pullback, right? If we look at the short-term move that crypto made, look at this specifically, okay? We look at this specifically. Do you see how we had this ascending channel? Well, as you all know, let's do a little quiz. If you're on the channel, if you watch my videos often, I want you to comment in the chat. Is an ascending channel a bullish or bearish structure? That's all I want from you real quick. And I'll let you guys answer before I continue. I'll give you 5 seconds. Okay. So ascending channels are bearish structures. And what I mean by that is oftentimes, historically, whenever you are in an ascending structure, you have an over 90% chance of breaking to the downside. Now, a lot of people actually don't know that. A lot of people look at ascending structures as good things because you have higher lows and higher highs. And I will agree that in a long-term perspective, an ascending structure oftentimes could signal some sort of macro bullishness, right? So this could be the beginning of a general move upwards. But in the short term, an ascending channel is bearish because it has an over 90% chance of breaking to the downside. And so what you can see here is that leading up to the inflation data, we actually saw what? We saw Bitcoin's price pull back to the downside out of the ascending channel. So although this feels terrible, although this doesn't feel good, and although this can feel concerning, the reality here is that Bitcoin is doing what it almost always does, which is break to the downside of ascending channels. Now, when a crypto breaks to the downside of an ascending channel, what happens? It goes to a bounce zone. So whenever you're looking at crypto, and look, we're going to do this real quick. We're going to actually just get rid of everything because I want you to be able to see this very clearly. So when a crypto breaks to the downside of an ascending channel, what you're going to want to identify are things called bounce zones, okay? And the way that you can identify a bounce zone or a zone that we could see Bitcoin's price bounce off of and continue upwards is by looking for the last points of support that you put towards the downside. So what we're going to do is we're going to identify the trend. There it is. And we're going to say, okay, when was the last time Bitcoin hit the bottom side of this channel? Right here. Boom. One of these buttons will do it. There we go. Okay. So this was the last time that we saw Bitcoin's price hit this channel. This is a bounce zone. What about before that? Oh, right there. Okay, that's another one. All right, now that we don't have any more channel, where's the next macro low? Okay, right there. Boom. And so what this then establishes is where could we start to expect to see Bitcoin's price bounce off of? Historical data actually goes to show that it's not a guarantee, but it is a very high likelihood that when a crypto breaks to the downside of an ascending channel, that it will come towards these bounce zones. And so the fact that Bitcoin's price is pulling back right now sure may feel scary, but the reality of it is that this structure was pretty clear well before any of this ever happened. Matter of fact, this is the reason why in multiple videos over the last week, I told people, hey, be very careful. Everyone's betting that Bitcoin's about to go banana zone, that it's about to go crazy, that we're about to see the market rally. But the reality is, until we break out of the descending channel, we are at a constant threat of rejection. And this is the rejection that I was warning about. And so again, although it might feel bad to see Bitcoin's price going down and alts following it, the reality here is, again, that we are just doing what we normally do. We break into the downside of an ascending channel, we're heading back towards the bounce zones. And so what this means for us going forward is that we know what to be on the lookout for. We need to be very closely monitoring $81,000, very closely monitoring $78,000, and very closely monitoring $76,000. Now, as you all know, what I will typically do is also pull up my golden zone. And I want to see, okay, where can I expect to see support? And I want to show you something interesting. Something interesting happens when you draw in that golden zone. Because remember, we have this support level. No, not this. We have this support level right here, right? We have this support level right here. And remember, these are bounce zones from this ascending channel. But watch something. When I draw in my golden pocket, now that's interesting. Do you see that? The key levels of support that are established by the ascending channel are also in perfect alignment with the golden zone. I think that's pretty interesting. What that's called is it's called confluence. And confluence is simply when one indicator, tool, or system is in alignment with another tool or system or indicator. And so what's interesting to me is that we now have confluence back down here. This is like a magnet. When you have this major support zone and this major support zone and this major support zone all in one similar area, it's a magnet. It's a liquidity magnet. And what that means is that it was almost destiny that once Bitcoin failed to break out of the descending channel here, that we would pull back here. From a technical perspective, this is an extremely expected move, which is again why I was warning everyone this week, hey, be careful, please, because until we get the three-step confirmation, we've not broken out of anything, and well, here we are. And so what this tells me, after having done a little analysis now, is that we need to be watching this incredibly closely because a very important decision is about to be made. Bitcoin's price has now ventured back towards two absolutely gigantic zones of support. And this support range goes between $81,000 and $78,900. And what this tells me is that if Bitcoin is going to give itself the chance to rally, which quite frankly, guys, I don't particularly see why it would, but if it is going to give itself the chance to rally, it's going to need to do it off of this zone. If there was ever a level that would push Bitcoin's price back up towards the $90,000 level, it would need to be a golden zone in perfect confluence with bounce zones. Because remember, the golden zone itself is a bounce zone. This is the level where you expect to find support. And the support level from the Fibonacci's is in perfect alignment with the bounce zone established by our ascending wedge. That's not coincidence. So when you have two perfect bounce zones in perfect alignment with each other, if this can't hold, guys, what will? It's the way that I see it, at least. What will? And so the way that I'm looking at this market right now is quite simply, we're about to find out. If Bitcoin's price loses $78,900, I would start to get quite concerned. Now, I'm not going to say that it 100% guarantees anything because anything can happen in this market. But the reality here is that if Bitcoin's price loses the golden zone, the door then opens wide open for a move to $69,000. And you might think, no way. You might think, no way. You might think Bitcoin's not going to $69,000, but I have a harsh reality for you. When you look at the liquidation map, what you can see here is that there is an absolutely gigantic amount of liquidations that will occur if Bitcoin goes to $69,000. In addition to this, if we actually do go back to my original plotting, what does that look like? If Bitcoin came back down to $69,000, that would be a perfect retest back to the bottom side of the descending channel, which is, it's something we've done several times now. Bitcoin has come back to the bottom side of this golden channel multiple times, or this descending channel multiple times. Look, it happened right here. It happened right here. It happened right here. And that would mean that Bitcoin's price would come back here. And so although I'm not saying this is going to happen, although I'm not saying that we are about to for sure see Bitcoin go to 69,000, I am saying that it is now a threat. By Bitcoin's price failing to clear it here, we don't have many options left. Bitcoin needs to find support. It must. It needs to come down and it needs to find support. And I think it needs to happen between $81,000 and $79,000 in alignment with the 50% threshold of this descending channel. And if it's not capable of doing that, I do start to get concerned that we will see Bitcoin's price nosedive again back towards that previous all-time high from back here, which you can see. These levels. Right there. So it's something to think about. Now, I do think one way or another, it's very likely that Bitcoin doesn't do a ton over the next couple weeks. I think it's very likely that this decision that's going to get made of whether or not Bitcoin is going to hold support or is not going to hold support is going to really, and look, let me go ahead and one second, guys. Let me get these little spammers banned out of the chat real quick. Moon_on_ETH. One second. Let me get these guys banned here real quick. And if any moderators are in the chat, all these Moon ETH people, please ban them. So here, let me, there we go. Just get these last few ones banned. There we go. So what does this mean for me? Well, it means that we need to be watching very closely, but I'm not going to lie. I do believe that crypto is relatively going to be rather boring for the next couple of weeks. Why? Reason number one is there is a lack of catalyst in the market right now. And I'm not specifically just talking about crypto. I'm also talking about the market in general, like the economic market. We have economic data just released, not good. We have the FOMC, who is going to respond to that economic data, which wasn't good, in probably a not so great way. In addition to that, we have continuation from Trump's team pushing through these tariffs, which feel about them how you will or you won't. But the reality is, in the short term, they are they're having a negative impact on crypto. The months of April and March and April, they can historically be good, but sometimes they're just boring. And so the reality is that I think we're going to have a slow bake here. I think the reality is that unless something big happens, we're going to have a slow bake in the crypto market, meaning it's just not going to do that much. It's going to find some support. It's going to slowly determine whether it's going to hold support or not. Maybe it'll try to walk itself back up towards that descending channel, but probably not break out of it. I really don't expect a ton of volatility. I'm not expecting the market to really do a lot and continue what it's been doing. But it doesn't mean that we can't pay attention. Because the whole reason why I showed you this was to make you vastly aware that even in a moment like now, where we're not seeing a ton from crypto and there's not a lot of movement and Bitcoin's not really doing much, big decisions are being made. Important decisions are being made. Things are happening from a price perspective that are going to have long-term effects. And although things are boring and not a lot is happening right now, it doesn't mean we can just ignore Bitcoin, that we can stop paying attention, that we can stop watching the charts. Because again, what happens with Bitcoin's price at this next massive level of support is very likely going to determine whether or not we try to bounce back up towards 90 or whether we possibly head back down to 60, guys. And that's a huge move. I mean, that's a possibly market altering move. And so, although crypto might be a bit boring, and although we are going to be in a bit of a weird awaiting phase right now, I don't think now is a great time to ignore it. I don't think now is a good time to just walk away from it. I don't think now is a good time to just become complacent. Because if we can monitor what's happening here well, we can actually position ourselves pretty strongly. Bitcoin loses macro support. We start, either shorting, which is an option that I have considered a little bit recently, or just preparing to do some more macro dollar cost averages at lower bounce zones. But if we see Bitcoin's price start bottoming, we might be able to capitalize on that next move before anyone else. And so again, I know I keep repeating it, but I need it to stick with you. Even though the market's probably about to get pretty boring because of all of the things that are happening from a macro perspective, it's not a time to just ignore it. And it's not a time to just walk away from it, okay? And so my general analysis from the day is watch very close. Because this first level, this first bounce zone is sitting directly below us at $81,200. And this is going to be one of the first ones that try to push us back up here. And we got to watch it closely. Okay. So that's where we are from a technical perspective. That's where we are also from a foundational perspective whenever it comes, saying, the risks that are there. Another thing that we can look at is Bitcoin dominance, because this starts to paint an interesting picture. So what we can see here, if we look at the daily charts on Bitcoin dominance, what we can see here is that Bitcoin dominance is in a pretty interesting structure, to say the least. Maybe you guys can identify it. What's this structure called, guys? What is this called? This. What's that called? Yeah, very good. Ascending structure, right. Now tell me, chat, ascending structures have a 90% chance of doing what? Okay. Right. Dropping. Yeah. Very good. So what we can see is that Bitcoin dominance is back in an ascending structure, very similarly to what it was in back here. And what this means to me, or at least in my opinion, is that although we are in a Bitcoin-led market, and although we are seeing Bitcoin in control of the market, there is an extremely high likelihood that that's going to change at some point, and I think it could be sometime rather soon. Now, by soon, I mean within the next couple months. I'm not talking about like tomorrow. And why is that important? Why is it so important that I'm talking to you about it right now? Well, the reason why this is so important is that historically, the only time that Bitcoin dominance goes down is when altcoins are outperforming Bitcoin, obviously. And historically, the only time that altcoins outperform Bitcoin are in a more bullish period than we're in now. In consolidatory periods, in bearish periods, you historically won't see an altcoin outperform Bitcoin because it's a more risky asset. So what this tells me is that when I'm looking at Bitcoin here, right, and I'm looking at Bitcoin dominance, I'm thinking, yeah, Bitcoin's in control of the market and it's still going up. But at some point, it looks like altcoins are going to take control. And usually when altcoins take control, it's not in a bearish period. You're usually not going to see Bitcoin falling 10%, but the altcoin market only down 5%. That's unusual. Not impossible, but unusual. And I would be willing to bet a rather large amount of money that at some point we're going to see this breakdown. And so it doesn't tell me for sure what's going to happen, but it does at least give me some clue that maybe things aren't as grim as we think. And maybe there is an opportunity that Bitcoin will find some support and it will try to use that support to break out. And when that time does happen, maybe some of these alts will start performing better. Maybe we will see alts start to kind of have some sort of little mini rally. Not a full altcoin season. That's not going to happen until we have, some more liquidity within the market. But some sort of generally decent performance. It's something to play with. It's a thought that I've acknowledged a couple times. And so it makes me think that, listen, even if we do see Bitcoin, say, fall back to 70K, I'm not taking all my cards off the table. Because at that point, again, it would still feel to me as if we could get some sort of relief. That would imply that alts are in control to some degree. And it could be a pretty good opportunity to take even more profit off the table here. So it's something to think about. So I know I've thrown a lot at you, but let me kind of just summarize my thoughts. And again, the whole point of today's video is just hang out, kind of give you some of my general thoughts, some of the things that I'm looking at. Bitcoin's price is still in the descending channel. Thank goodness we didn't go long and we didn't follow the Twitter narrative. Because if you remember last week and earlier this week, everybody's narrative on Twitter was that Bitcoin was now going back into the banana zone. It was about to go to 100K. And I was here screaming, hey, not a good idea. Let's not get too far ahead of ourselves because Bitcoin's not broken out of anything. It's not even broken out of the descending channel. How could we say that? It has an opportunity to break out of it, but it's not done it yet. So how can we get so excited? And gladly, we were a little bit, cautious about that because here we are. And Bitcoin has continued again lower into this descending channel. As a result of it continuing lower in the descending channel, we need to be paying very close attention to this key zone of support. This is golden zone support, and it is also bounce zone support. I'm under the belief that the zone between $81,000 and $79,000 is going to be one of the last chances that Bitcoin actually has to try to make a run to 100K before summertime. And if it loses support there, it becomes increasingly more likely that we see Bitcoin's price fall towards $76,000 and possibly even lower towards the $69,000 level. This is something that is reasonable to assume. It's not out of the realm of possibility as much as some people would think, because you just look at liquidations. There are a substantial amount of liquidations between $65,000 and $71,000. And so knowing that there are this many liquidations down there, that means even more that if Bitcoin loses support here, this is one of the last levels of support that we would have to stop the magnetization towards these liquidations. And so again, if we lose the golden zone here, it becomes ever more likely that we do see Bitcoin's price continue lower, possibly as low as $69,000, $70,000. Even in the event that that happens, though, I'm not fully still convinced that we're not going to see Bitcoin try to break out of this descending channel at some point. Descending channels historically will break upwards almost 85 to 90% of the time, just like an ascending channel will break downwards. What I mean by that is even if Bitcoin's price does continue lower, at some point, it's very likely, I would almost say it's guaranteed, that at some point, Bitcoin will break to the upside of this channel. I genuinely believe that is sorry, my dogs are going nuts, but I genuinely believe that's an extremely high likelihood. It's 80, 90% that we will see Bitcoin break out of this. In addition to that, Bitcoin dominance, as I showed you, is trending upwards in an ascending channel that will almost always break downwards, meaning that altcoins would outperform Bitcoin for a while. And so when I combine all of these things together, it tells me that, listen, Bitcoin might fall to $69,000 for those liquidations if it loses the golden zone, but I'm not getting scared out this market. Even if that happens, I'm willing to be doing some buying because the likelihood is still that Bitcoin will try to rally at some point, break this descending channel, and give the market some relief, at which point I would be looking to take profits not only on my long-term bags, but also on some of the short-term plays that I've opened up here and here if we do drop again. That's my general thesis. The short version, I don't know what's going to happen. It might pull back, but even if it does, the data shows us that there's still a very high likelihood that it tries to give us some relief upwards, and so it's worth buying some crypto if it goes down. That's my overall outlook on the market, guys. I don't think it's going to take, I think it's going to take a while. I don't particularly think it's going to be fast unless it happens off this support zone because of the slowdown in the economy, because of the consumer spending numbers, because of the PCE numbers, because of what the Fed is probably going to do, right? I don't think it's going to be fast. I think it's going to take some time. So I'm not in a rush, but that is how I'm expecting this market to play out. I'm still willing to buy. Simple as that. That's kind of where I'm at with everything. Okay. Let me jump into the chat here. I feel like I haven't answered the chat in a while. What do you guys think about what I just said? Let me know. Let me just know very simply before we get into details. Just put agree or disagree in the chat, or put in the middle. I'm curious. Drink your water or I'll ban you. And also, two quick things. Okay, two quick things. I told you I'm going to chill. For the next 30 seconds, I am only talking to people who are not beginners. If you're a beginner, take your headphones out, please. Stop listening. If you're experienced in the world of crypto, what I want you to do is I want you to head down to the link in the description, head to BTCC, and go get your 10% bonus on all first-time deposits. Okay. This is, again, for only people with experience, but you can get tens of thousands of dollars with BTCC. And guys, I trade on this platform literally 40 to 50% of the time. So if that's something you're interested in, there's a 10% deposit bonus. It is available for you down in the description below. Go check that out. It's only for a limited time. We had a cap of how many people could sign up and get this specific bonus. We're getting very close. So go check that out. Again, only if you have experience in crypto, not if you're brand new, please. Okay, let's see. Agree, disagree. Agree in the middle to disagree. Interesting. Rob, what's your opinion? I'm very curious. I saw a puppy back there. Let's see. Agree. Very interesting stuff here. Okay. And don't feel like you have to agree with me, guys. I mean, we all have individual kind of thoughts on how this is going to go. It's all good. Oh, Rob said agree. Leverage trading is easy. You don't need experience. Absolutely disagree. I am by no means going to co-sign that. And Kirk, obviously not a diss towards you, but if you are in my chat right now and you are a beginner and you don't really know what you're doing, do not touch leverage. Don't, please. Not right now. Okay, cool. What is your opinion on the death cross? Let's look at it. What the death cross, but the death cross, the death cross between what? What moving averages are we talking about? I would assume we are talking about the 25 and the 50. This is the EMA. I'll just do it the long way. Are we on the dailies? What death cross? Everyone talks about death cross. I think they're just. I'll explain why I think they're kind of pointless in a second. What moving averages are crossing? I don't look at them. Let me explain to you why I don't look at moving average crosses. They are so lagging that they're almost ineffective. Yeah, they'll tell you the general trend that we're in. Don't get me wrong. I think that's incredibly important. But the reality of a death cross is that it's so far behind now, it's almost ineffective and everyone knows about it. Death crosses were much scarier back in the day in crypto, like 2016, 17, 18, 19. And I remember this a little bit because no one really paid attention to it until we recognized like one or two or three times how effective they were. But 6, 7 years later, they're not that impactful, and there's so many other things you could be doing to identify the macro trend well before seeing a death cross. Like a crypto's position to the 50-week simple moving average, for example, is much faster and much clearer and more impactful, in my opinion, of determining the macro trend than looking at the death cross. So to me, I don't particularly look at death crosses, but it's up to you. Let me know if you guys feel kind of the same way. I just don't really, I don't know. That's also another thing. You know, when everybody in crypto is talking about a certain thing happening, I don't really pay attention to it. It's like everybody was saying, oh, crypto has to go up because M2 money supply is going up. And I'm like, that's not how that works. And I told you all, and I feel like I'm doing a whole I told you. My bad if I'm doing it too much. That's on me. But we were talking about that here on the channel, and I said, listen, when everyone's talking about the fact that a certain thing has to happen, and when everyone's talking about a narrative, the narrative loses its impact. Narratives are only, like, certain narratives, how do I explain this? Like, these narratives of, oh, the death cross means this, so it has to go down, lose their effectiveness the more that people know about them, because they either become just invalidated as a result of front running or self-fulfilled prophecies that aren't actually like long lasting or sustainable. Let me know if that makes sense. But anyway, so okay, so disagree, played out quite well all previous pumps. Curious of what you're going on to talking about. In my opinion, I have no emotions involved. Shorts pay longs, shorts pay longs, pay holding pace. So it doesn't matter. Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. I mean, I think the best thing to do right now, quite frankly, is just to buy and hold. Dollar cost average on the red days like today. Don't ever put too much cash in one dump, and just keep enough cash on the side, because the reality of it is, guys, there's only two options here. Let me go for a rant. Do you guys mind if I rant? Let me rant. I'm sorry. Okay. I'm gonna rant for like 3 minutes. Give me a second. So, if you invested into crypto, I'm really gonna get a little pissed off here because it's just annoying. If you invested into crypto, I would hope, and there's a difference between trading and investing. Let's make sure we're clear, right? But what I'm referring to is long-term investing. You invested for the long term. A trader is different, because a trader doesn't particularly care about the underlying asset. They just care about the setup for the trade. But if you are someone who invested into crypto from a value perspective, hey, I think crypto is valuable. I'm going to buy it now, and I'm going to sell it later because I think over time it's going to go up because its value will increase intrinsically and extrinsically. Okay. Why am I saying this? If you invested into crypto, you know what? Fuck it. Give me the mic. If you invested into crypto, I would hope that you have some sort of long-term belief for crypto. I would hope that you bought it not because you just wanted to get rich quick, but because you actually, to some degree, believe in the thing that you're buying. If you're just buying stuff just for funsies, just buying it, just hoping it goes up, reassess. But I would hope that you bought it for a reason, and that reason being you assume over time it'll grow in value, therefore it should go up intrinsically in price. You get it. So if that is the case, if you started investing because you believe in crypto, and you're sure, like I am, that Bitcoin, for example's price is going to go up over the long term. I'm positive that Bitcoin will end up higher one day than it is today. I'm positive. If you believe that, there's one of two scenarios for what's going to happen here. One or two scenarios. Let me play them out for you. Again, sorry for the rant. You guys know I can't go one live stream without ranting. Option one. Give me a clean chart. Here we go. Option one. Get off. Is that we are in a cool down within the middle of a bull market. Okay, so what does that mean? It means that for a certain amount of time, we're going to go down. Then at some point, we're going to go back into the bull market. Okay? That's option one. And I have to put my computer on the charger here in a second, so I might need to go get my charger. That's option one. Pause there. Let me put, because if my computer dies in the middle of me ranting, I'm gonna get pissed. Also, drink your water while I'm doing this, or I'll ban you from chat. Okay. So that's option number one, is that we are in the middle of a cool down, in the middle of a bull market. Easy enough to understand. Option number two is that crypto is going to go down. We are in a bear market, and we're going to go down, 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 down until we enter into another bull market, at which point we're going to go up. So let's just draw this pretty little picture. Okay. Let's draw this little picture. Let me go to the weekly charts, because I don't understand what the big deal is. Option number one. Option number two. Let's go out to, say, here. Okay. Do you guys know where I'm about to go with this? Option one. Option two. The only reason why you even care that Bitcoin and crypto prices go down right now is because you're being impatient. I don't know if y'all can hear him meowing, but it's super loud. Hey, buddy. Hey, go ahead and stop now. The only reason why you would care if Bitcoin's price keeps going down is because you're being impatient. Because the reality is you shouldn't be investing money that you care about, right? So the money you're investing, generally, you shouldn't need it. Like, you shouldn't need your Bitcoin money to pay your bills. You should not, because that's too risky. You're being way too risky. Relax. The money you have invested in crypto should be a tool, a vehicle to compound over time to build wealth. And there's something I said in that just now that I need you to hear again. Over time. And so knowing that your crypto portfolio is a tool or vehicle that is supposed to be used over time to generate gains, why does it matter if it takes this year or next year? Like, truthfully, when you pull it back a bit, who actually cares? If you're going to hold crypto, if you're investing for 10 years or 15 years or 20 years, who cares? Now, matter of fact, I'll go even further. Why would you actually kind of not look at it from an optimistic perspective? Because from an optimistic perspective, if crypto is currently down in a cool down phase and you are buying dollar cost averaging in right now, and then it does pump, then you're going to be able to take profit sometime soon. If it continues lower, you'll be able to get better prices to take even more profit, compounded profit, later in the future. It's either a win now or win more later situation. That's how I see it. I genuinely believe that this is the only way to look at it. So to me, who cares? Now, what's someone going to say? Well, Tyler, you have a YouTube channel. You have a business. You get paid. You're going to get paid from views one way or another. It does not change anything. No. I don't need the money in my crypto portfolio to live because I make money from YouTube and business, whatever. Neither should you. You shouldn't be investing money that you need to go pay for your daughter's medicine. You shouldn't be investing money that you need to pay your rent. You shouldn't be paying money that you need that if your car breaks down, now you have to sell Bitcoin to pay for it. You should not be investing that much. That's too goddamn much. You are being risky because you're trying to get rich. You're being greedy. You're trying to skip steps, and it's pointless. The reality of it is here that I don't, and you shouldn't, have more money invested in crypto than you're supposed to. It should be looked at as a tool or a vehicle to build generational wealth over time. So if crypto goes down a little bit, then pumps this month, cool. If it goes down the rest of the year, then pumps, cool. If it goes down for 2 years, then pumps, cool. The more it goes down, the bigger the gains will be when we take profit. So who gives a fuck? Am I wrong? That's how I see it. So I'm going to let it go because I will keep going on for hours. But I'm going to just pause, and I want you guys to give me your opinion on that. Because maybe I'm out of touch. Maybe I'm being a little bit delusional, but I don't see it. I don't see it. Okay. So let's answer something. Let's look at the chat. I'm curious to see what the chat says. The only reason and difference between but you have millions in crypto is that Tyler started this 7 years ago and they start now. Exactly. We're in the same position. We're in the same position. It's different. Gambling. Your view is valid for you, but like I said, out of touch, and yes, you're wrong. Right. A bit emotional, we get it. Yeah, of course. I get passionate. You know, when we started the school, something shifted within me, and I think you guys will probably recognize it. Some of you will probably notice that over the last 4 or 5 months, I've gotten a lot more. What is that green light, dude? Oh, it's from this. Over the last couple months, I've gotten a little bit more emotional about all this because in the school, I'm talking to you all directly. It's one thing to just be a YouTuber who's just talking to a camera. It's another thing to actively be talking to students, hearing their pain and their problems, and then relaying my advice to you all. Advice, right? And so I think it's because I've become so much more connected with you. I feel it a little bit more. And I feel what you're going through and what I'm going through a little more. And that is kind of where it comes from. If you're curious why I rant every stream. Don't talk to us like 5-year-olds. Quite frankly, you need to be. Whenever I get emotional in the world of business, you know what I need people to do? I need them to sit me down and talk to me like a 5-year-old. Because it's easy when you get emotional to start overcomplicating everything, right? I'm emotional, I'm pissed, my portfolio's down, I don't know what to do, and then I have these leverage trades that are open. I don't know if I should add more margin, if I should just cancel them out. I have one on BTCC and one on BitUnix, and I don't know, maybe I'll just cancel the one on BitUnix, and then I'll go open up a short trade on BTCC to try to hedge some of those losses. But should I sell all of my Solana because I'm up anyway, and I'm gonna go buy some You see how this shit goes? And then someone just sits you down like, hey, calm the fuck down a little bit. Let's break this down simply. And then when you simplify things, it takes those overcomplicated thoughts and just turns them into systems. That's what you need. Okay. Don't get me started on the lizard people. All right. How are we feeling? Look, I have to roll out of here in about 30 minutes. And I just want to answer questions. I had a little bit more market analysis that I want to do, but I just want to hang out with you guys. I feel like we haven't got to chat. Put questions in the chat. Questions in the chat. Just put them there. We're going to answer questions for the rest of the day. Anyone who's rewatching this, there's no more analysis coming forward, but please take what I said earlier to the bank. Okay? Remember, just to summarize what I said earlier. Until we are out of the descending channel, nothing good is going to happen. Nothing actually good. Absolutely nothing good. I'm going to just say it again. Nothing good will happen until we get out of this descending channel. So no matter how optimistic you feel, how much FOMO you feel, how much greed you feel, it does not matter. Until we get out of this descending channel, nothing's good is going to happen. Remember, I told you this. We were talking about this days ago, guys. Look at this. Hold on. Let's go back. On the 20th, 9 days ago, I told people everyone is all excited, but we are in a battle zone. We need to break the descending channel. We need to break the 50 moving average. We need to break the golden zone. Until we do those things, nothing is confirmed. Nothing good is going to happen. But people were still going long on huge leverage trades. Even in the school, people were opening up macro long leverage trades. And well, here we are. And I'm not trying to call you guys out, but the reality of it is you need your confirmations. We don't have them. So what do we need to do right now? We need to accept that nothing good will happen while we're in this descending wedge, but we can start looking for early clues, which is the bounce zones. Keep watching key levels like 82,000, 81,000, 79,000, key liquidation levels like 69,000, 75,000, 76,500. Watch these bounce zones closely. Because at some point, I do think the bulls are going to step in to try to start forcing Bitcoin's price upwards, and it'll give us a lot of clarity on the likelihood of when we will be able to break out of this descending wedge. Because mark my words, at some point, I genuinely believe this, Bitcoin's going to try to break out of this wedge. There's a 10% chance it doesn't. I'm not betting on a 10% chance. There's a 90% chance that it does. So we're going to start looking for early clues as to when we can be expecting that breakout to happen. We had a decent chance right here. Economic data didn't let it happen. So we continue lower. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to continue to slowly dollar cost average at key levels of support like 81, 79, maybe a little bit more, 74, 69. And I'm going to continue to look for clues for when the breakout's going to happen. But I genuinely do think it's going to happen. The big question is when. The reason I'm only doing small dollar cost averages and not big dollar cost averages is because the reality is that we might continue back to 69,000. When you look at liquidation maps again, you can see what I'm talking about here. There are a ton down there. That tells me that we might fall back this low. So that is why I'm only doing small DCAs at these key levels of support. I'm not buying a lot at any of them. Slow, steady, progressional purchases. Okay? That's this plan. That's the strategy. I do believe we'll break out. It's just going to take time, especially now that we got ugly economic data. Let it play out. Okay? Now, I'm going to show you something real quick, but I genuinely believe it, and I want you to see it. All of these things, all of this stuff I'm talking to you about right now, about descending channels and wedges and all that, guys, we talk about all of this over in the school every single day. I released a whole thing out like 2 or 3 hours ago, going over everything I'm telling you right now. Talk to them, okay? So there's one of the cats. So if you are somebody who is struggling in this crypto market, and I know many of you are, if you're somebody who's struggling in this crypto market and you want some just direction, some help, some guidance, whatever it may be, what I want you to do is I want you to head to the link down below and go check out our school, the Crypto Strategy School. Guys, in our school, we have one very, very simple mission. We take crypto investors like yourselves and we give you value. And I mean as much as I can try to, as much as we possibly can within a day. From daily deep dives, weekly reports, daily analysis, technical analysis requests, trade signals, insights, like as much as we humanly can, we provide you with that. And then what we do is we take all of the value that we're giving you and we help you build strategies. Because a strategy is truly the only way that a crypto investor can actually win within the world of crypto. If you just aimlessly wander through crypto, you're not going to win. You're like 1% of you will, the rest of you won't. And so we help you create a strategy, hence why we're called the Crypto Strategy School. And the best part about it is that if you don't learn within the first 12 hours of being in the school, guys, I'll just give you your money back. Easy as that. I'll just give you it back. Here, you can have it. And you can stick around. It's fine. And it starts as little as $5 a month. There's a couple options. Before I started the stream, I opened up 2 more spots at the executive tier if that's interesting to you. It is the best tier, but the bottom 2 are great as well. So go check those out. And the last thing I want to announce to you before we pivot a little bit more is that my brand new YouTube channel, Tyler Teaches Crypto, is now live. This is a YouTube channel that I'm going to use to only post educational content. Nothing but education is going to go there. I know oftentimes when I do educational content on this channel, it gets buried in all of my daily updates and analysis. But you can go here and this is going to be a library of everything that I can think of. I'm just going to give it to you on this channel. We're going to do videos going over things like that, and we're going to do shorts. In these shorts, you guys can ask me questions on places like Instagram. And then what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to answer those questions for you. And I'm going to put the answers to those questions in the shorts. So go follow me. It is Tyler Teaches Crypto. And I'm not sure if it's linked down below or not. Let me see. Let me see if it's linked down here. Yeah, it's linked down there for you. Tyler Teaches Crypto. Go check that out. Okay. Let's get into some questions. So again, I want you guys to ask me some questions. I'm going to answer your questions for the next 20, 30 minutes. And then I'm going to go ahead and jump off because I got to go coach some guys with some MMA fights. My mom is indeed here, as always. Okay. My wife is here. She's camera shy, so she's not going to get on the camera, but she is listening. Okay. Let's see. Trading once or twice a month. Take your 15 to 25%. It's trading once or twice. Oh, there she goes. Oh, there she goes. All right. What questions do you have? Give them to me. Is the school $5 a month? I have some experience with trading and investing in this market, but happy to learn more. Yep, $5 a month. I am closing the $5 a month option. The $5 a month option is not great. I'm not going to lie to you. It doesn't get you a ton, but it gets you in. I would recommend the $17 a month option to anyone who is brand new. The $100 a month option is exponentially better than the rest, obviously, but it is a good place to start if that does interest you. What's going on with the empty bookshelves? Wait, where? Oh, those ones? Yeah, I don't have books, bro. I watch YouTube all goddamn day. So I need to go get some books, dude. Need to get some books. the starter profile. Let's see. The beginner YouTube profile or the beginner crypto market profile. Let me see. Hold on. I actually haven't checked it in a minute. Let me see if I can find it. Let's see. Portfolio. Oh, I'm not logged in on this computer. Hey, in the next stream, I'll walk you guys through it. In the next stream, I'll show you the beginner portfolio. While y'all are asking questions, I'm introducing you to my dogs. Where's the first one? Hey, Soul. Hey, come here. Come. I'll be right back. Come on, buddy. Sorry. No, you're good. Okay, say hello. This is Soul. We call him Soulja Boy because that's his name. And then, this. Ask me questions, by the way. I'm going to answer your questions. This is Magni. We call him Moo because his name is Moo. And then this is Flora. The rest of them ran. I don't know where they went. This is Flora. This is my favorite cat, but I'm not allowed to say that. But this is Flora. Say hello. We call her Flora. All right. Anyway, let's see. Did you also lose 80 to 90% of your initial crypto investment? I got a little lucky when I first started investing because when I really started putting a lot of money in was right when my dog's going nuts. Hold on, give me 1 second. Hey, buddy, what you doing? Come here. We had to take Bean to the groomer just now. Y'all didn't get to meet Bean. But she had to get taken to the groomer, so he's freaking out because he has separation anxiety. But anyway, when I first started investing in crypto, I caught it like in the middle of a bull run. So I started making a lot of gains fast. I lost 80 to 90% of my unrealized gains, but I didn't lose 80 to 90% of my initial investment when I first started investing, if that makes sense. Okay. You're an MMA coach. Yeah, I used to fight. I trained in MMA since 2008, and then I retired this year. And now I just coach the guys because fighting is very hard. I can't let you down because you're going to cry at the door. I am deep in a couple meme coins at a 50% loss, thousands of dollars. I'm considering pulling out and putting what I have left DCA into Bitcoin and Ethereum. I cannot tell you what to do, obviously. I am not a financial advisor, but I do think that is not a bad idea. I think we're not even remotely close to a meme coin season right now. And so as a result of that, to me, it's just kind of like, there's a pretty substantial risk that if this market does continue lower, that we're going to see meme coins just continue to fall. So, I mean, I obviously can't tell you what to do, but I will say I have hedged out of some of my meme coins and taken that money and moved it into some of my safer plays. Sorry, guys. Hold on 1 second. Come see. You got to go in the room because he's screaming. See, this is the thing. I want to do some streams down here with you guys. But I got 5 animals and they're crazy guys. They're always doing something. It'd be cool if you tie these TA videos to the new portfolio at the end when you ask, okay, so what am I doing? It would be great for beginners. Yeah, I'm definitely going to start going over the beginner portfolio more often. To be honest, I just forget. Because I talk about it a lot in the school and I just forget, honestly. And the beginner portfolio is a very long-term portfolio. And so it's hard to talk about it every day because it's just a long-term portfolio. It's a long-term bag. You know what I mean? You don't look like an MMA fighter. I get that a lot. Look, if you want some alpha, this is what you got to do. Go to YouTube and type in Tyler Hill MMA. And you will see, yeah, boy, putting on some decent fights. What was this? This was like a year ago or so. But that's me, and I bet you're wondering how I got here. All right. Paperweight division. Do you ever DCA on Sundays? LOL, sounds funny, but I never buy in on Sundays. Wait to see what happens Monday morning and afternoon. I don't buy on certain days. Like, I don't have a rule where I buy on a certain day. I have an entire DCA strategy, but my strategy is more dependent on price performance and much less timing, if that makes sense. How did you hedge out of means? I slowly sold. I slowly sold on most of those. On basically like most of them. But that was a while back. I've tried to fight Alec Becker. They didn't let it happen. No idea why. No one responded. I did it last week. I've seen some benefits long term. Hopefully. Yeah, hopefully. Tired of fights. Must be a liberal. No, I'm just tired of concussions. Always got to show the Elijah fight. That was Malcolm, I think. Your top 3 coins. Those are, yeah, I'm sure. Yeah, why not? Do you still hold Myro? I do. I do. Not the best hold, but I do hold it. If he fights again after he loses in crypto, his name would be Tyler the Lost Trader. It would be hard. It would be hard for me to, I guess, lose in crypto. I'm fully, so whenever I actually went to look, technically speaking, I am now fully in profit. Like my entire initial investment in crypto is out. So my entire position in crypto is profit, and crypto makes up about 22% of my net worth. I'm about 22% in crypto, 25% real estate, 21% stocks, like maybe 20% in cash, and then percentages kind of spread out because I own my cars and stuff in cash. So I have some in cars, but you know. So even if crypto like went to 0, I guess it wouldn't be like the end of the world. Quite a few. Let's have a match. Winner takes each other's crypto portfolio. Mine's totally not barren. No, I'm good, champ. Huge gains today in the school. Thanks, Tyler. Dash for cash. I'm going to check that gains chat. I better see it. I better see it. It's good marketing. Well, we got Dash for cash. I want to see it. Shout out to Dash for cash, by the way. Dash, go put them in the chat. Stop playing with me. But I mean, look at it, guys. Like we have guys in the school who are, you know, this guy long sweep 50x, 50% gainer there. This guy shorted Bitcoin on perpetuals, 106% gainer there. Steffi, short and fart coin, as you would. 1,000% gainer for McNeed this morning. Fantastic. We love to see it. Look at my boy Very Science coming in with the gainers. Love to see it. Good stuff, guys. Very good. Very nice. And that's what I love about the school as well. You know, it's like, it's not just me. Like, I'm not trading right now, but we do have a ton of coaches who are trading, right? And because of that, there are still people in the community who are trading. So it's like, you don't have to just rely on my thoughts or my opinions or my signals or whatever, right? Like, there's a ton of different options and a bunch of different actions that are happening there that may align better with you. I love it. It's fantastic. 3,000 people. 3,000 people, guys, in that school. Crazy. What's Stein say? Stein talking that shit? Quite frankly, counter 3 in almost 1 hour. He's progressing, guys. Quite frankly, Stein. I don't appreciate that. I don't have any precious metals. God damn it. I have 50 Turkish lira invested in Melania coin. Can this make me slumdog millionaire someday? No. Tyler, how much safe DCA should be the average? Should the average investor be doing weekly? I think of an investment mindset better than a trader's mindset in the current market. I think if you have $100 set aside in cash, I think doing a weekly DCA of like $5 to $10 is fine. Yeah, because obviously you should be replenishing that DCA bag when you get paychecks and stuff. So yeah, I think 5 to 10% makes sense. I just own VOO and SPY. I don't do individual stock investing. I just don't have time to really like study them. No. Everyone tells me I got to get that, get some precious metals. I don't know where to start. I haven't really, it's not my world, I guess. I have 90% invested in time with kids and 10% in crypto. I love that. We drink water for every quite frankly, you got to quite frankly drink that. Oh, shit. Here comes Hack. Flexing the game. Oh, here we go. Yeah, there we go. Dash for cash. Posting those gainers in the chat. I don't know what just happened. Hat coming in. Oh, here we go. Hold on now. Look at my boy Dash for cash putting in 108% short. Yo, Dash 200x leverage, brother. Come on, brother. A little too much, brother. Pull back a little bit, brother. That's a lot, brother. ENA USDT. That's a beautiful trade. 182% gainer there. 137% long. 20x. That's reasonable on Vine. Oh, you were telling me about Vine. Very nice. Hat comes in with the 25x short trade. 165% open at 88,000. Mark at 82,000. Very good hack. Then we got a little 50x shorter on Popcat, 39%. Hell yeah. Shorting meme coins has seemed to be the absolute move recently. Don't you eat that dog food, Magnet. Get out of there. Stop. Very nice, guys. Good stuff. Man, y'all are smashing it. I love to see it. I love to see it. What is this? Let me get this out the way. Good stuff, guys. Is it worth it to follow altcoin daily? If not, who do you recommend to set? Yeah, definitely worth it. Yeah, they're good dudes. I met Aaron a couple times at just events and stuff in passing. We're not friends or anything. That's crazy, but yeah, they're good. They're very good for like kind of just your more general updates. It's good to follow guys like Benjamin Cohen for more of a fundamental analysis perspective. Following guys like Eric Crown for your technical analysis would be a good one. General market updates. I think No BS Crypto and House of Crypto, Connor Kinney, My Financial Friend, great guys to follow. Tyler Hill, he's a dork. Don't subscribe to him. He sucks, dude. Such a douchebag. Yeah, those are my big ones. Just a query: what's roughly percent moves caught in the school membership in March? I have no idea. That's a great question. I'm not sure, to be honest. We've basically just launched V2 of the school, and we're preparing for V3 already, which is insane. So I haven't really had a chance to go over the statistics, but we will do a data scrub at the end of the month, and I can tell you then. Tyler, drink your water, or I'll ban you. You don't need to remind me twice. I have 3 kids also trying to find time to learn. Lucky they're asleep now. It's 9:30 p.m. in Greece. I want to go to Greece one day. Steve Stifler, you have a hell of a name. I love it. Gold is always needed for computers. That's a good point. What do you think of Dragon? I know where that's going. I'm not asking that question. Which fighter do you most resemble stylistically? Jalen Turner and Jai Abear. Easier to risk money than get punched in the face. Oh, 100%. Totally agree. And my crypto is still worth much more than a few months ago. Only traders lose money. That's why investors make money. Yeah, I mean, you can make money as a trader. It's just harder. Can we have a discount for your school? Nah. It's good prices. It's good prices, champ. I was just reading the daily recap, and I was wondering where I go to see the different coaches' insights. I don't have access to that at this level. I'm a general member. Give me time. You're going to get access to all of it soon. Tyler, are we still on a bull run, right? I think so. It's getting a little ugly. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm going to be honest with you. I'm starting to get a little bit not skeptical, but definitely a little concerned about the state of the market. I think we need to maybe start facing reality that we might be in a bear market. I think that's a reasonable thing to do. Yeah, I'm just holding. Bitcoin, Solana, and I'll give you SWI for funsies. If we join the Discord, can we get more straight advice on how to change our portfolio? Over the next 4 to 6 weeks, you're not going to get a ton of that because of the way we have it set up, unless you just join voice chat and ask. But if you give me time, you will. Trust me. V3 for the Crypto Strategy School is just... It's going to be the best. I believe in 6 weeks' time at the CSS, the Crypto Strategy School, we're going to release the best educational product in crypto. I know that's a lot. Let me code. Do any of your coaches have a YouTube channel? Some do. Crypto Moses is one. Kate O'Neill is one. Investing Frankly is one. To name 3. Ivan on crypto for blockchain perspective. Yeah, Ivan's good. Would you agree that average crypto investor seems to not get the game? Most seem to be investing and holding alts instead of knowing the name of the game is to acquire more Bitcoin. Well, it just depends on your perspective of what the game is. But I would agree that a lot of people in crypto don't recognize that Bitcoin is the center point of authority still. I definitely would agree with that. I want to go under the pyramids one day. Me too. After that. Whatever. When you found out about crypto, did you try to tell your friends about it? And where are those people now? Do they ask you for advice? I didn't tell anyone. I didn't really tell anyone. I kept it to myself. Because whenever I started investing, it was like I told people about it, but not in like a trying to convince them way, but more of like a, hey, this is what I'm doing type of way. So it wasn't really me trying to convince them. But yeah, there are definitely a lot of people like from those days who kind of like ask me advice. I give it to them. Don't be weird. You know what I mean? Like people have a natural point of skepticism, and I think it's extremely valid. Like if someone came to me right now, they're like, dude, I'm starting this business selling book binders. I'd be like, cool, bro. You want to get in? No. Then if 10 years later he's making $1 billion off selling book binders, I'm gonna be like, hey, how'd you do it? Ain't nothing wrong with that. I had a natural point of skepticism. Of course I did. Ain't nothing wrong with it. How many kids per couple is ideal? I got no fucking idea. I don't even have one kid. I want 3 to 5 though. I'd like a little mini village here, but I think that's just me saying that without having any. I think definitely not one. Like I definitely don't want just one. I think 2 minimum. But if I can push that 3, 4, 5 range, I'm gonna try. I've been seeing videos about orb strategy. What's your thoughts on it? I'm not sure. I haven't checked that out before. 2 kids, a boy and a girl, always has been. I'm so damn tired of Trump with his tariffs just ruining micro environment. It's an interesting play. I mean, he's definitely damaging the economy in the short term for what he expects to be long-term benefit. See how it plays out. Are you into coding, building on blockchain, et cetera? Not really, to be honest. I'm not very technical. I'm going to say something that's a little bit like weird, but if you asked me to explain to you the way that certain things like work within crypto, I probably couldn't. Like I've been here 7-8 years and I probably couldn't explain to you certain things just because I don't care. Like I don't care about the technical side of things, right? Like we have certain software within our company that I don't know how it works. I just know it works. That's not my job. You know what I mean? And I think my role in crypto is to not understand the technical side of things. I'm going to go let my dog out the room now that he's calmed down. Honest take on XRP, too much noise, not looking for confirmation bias, just your pragmatic take. My pragmatic take is that XRP is a little bit overrated, but it makes really good gains, and the fact that it's tied into the government will probably make it even more gains. Market top indicators were a load of shit. I mean, some indicators are showing that we could have topped. I'll let you know when I think the bear market is in for sure. From my perspective, it's a 60 to 40 chance NFA. I think that's reasonable. Okay. Do you think going into a 2-year bear market, if we get to one, I personally believe we will see all-time highs in 2026 no matter what happens right now. I am starting to become a part of the majority of like the group of people who believes that my dog's screaming again. Gonna have to bring him in the room. He literally when my other dog is gone, he just freaks out. And it's just not good because she's a good bit older than him. I'm like, hey, buddy, wait, one day we're gonna have to figure that out. Anyway, I am starting to grow to be a part of the group of people who thinks that the bear market is gonna look different. Maybe even if it's not, maybe if it's still as long as it's been, I think that there's a decent sized chance that the bear market, at least for Bitcoin specifically, won't be as like damaging. Right. Because I think if you look back to crypto in 2021, if Bitcoin was going through in 2021 what it's going through now, it'd probably be back at like 50 or 60K by now. So Bitcoin's definitely falling much less than it normally would. And I think that's just to go to show that institutions are bringing stability, which will change the dynamic. It'll change how these markets look, for sure. And assuming that a 4-year cycle is going to continue just because we had 2 or 3 in the first, like the very first infant phase of an asset class is, I think, just ludicrous, personally. All right, sorry guys, I hate to keep getting up, but I have to bring him back in the room. He's just tripping right now. All right, buddy, let's go back in here, buddy. Cheers from Saudi Arabia. Oh, the orb strategy thing. I'm not sure. The more kids, the merrier. Research says people with 4 or more are happy. That's an interesting. That's an interesting idea. Okay. I know you think it's a bad idea to buy meme coins. What about Dogecoin? I don't think it's a bad idea to buy meme coins. I just don't think it's gonna be the best bang for your buck right now. I think risk versus reward right now, meme coins are just not a great play right now, to be honest. I get it, Wyatt, but it's a part of the game, right? If we agree to sit down at the table, we got to be okay with whatever happens, right? You sit down at that blackjack table, you can't get too mad if they deal at 21. That 6 card 21 will make you want to do something to somebody, but it's the game we signed up for. And if you stick around, it'll be all good. I believe. Buy the rumor, sell the news happens all the time. Jeez. Do you think that the global liquidity is shrinking in every sector and seems to feel like people are tends to spend might be a recession coming soon? I think that's reasonable. I think it's a reasonable assumption. I mean, I would be willing to assume that the governments are going to step in before that happens. I almost am getting to a spot to where it's like the government kind of comes in to just save everyone's ass almost every time, and I don't really know why it'd be different now. But to be honest, I don't particularly align with the idea that the economy is going to be worse now than it was, say, damn, was my computer not charging until just now? Wow. Maybe just tell me if I'm wrong, but I definitely feel like the economy feels like it's in a better place than it was like a year or two ago. Like, you remember when inflation was really bad and everything went from bad to normal to bad fast? Like, eggs and everything started getting crazy in price and gas was high. I feel like the economy was worse then. I feel like more people had less jobs then. I feel like more people had no money then. I feel like the economy's in a better place. It's just been stagnant for a long time. But that is me living in a bubble, so I don't know. Do you believe in the saying that when you hit 100K, becoming a millionaire becomes substantially easier? I think it depends on how you hit 100K. So, like, when my net worth hit $100,000, it still took me a couple years to get to a millionaire. But had I hit $100,000 with the same vehicle that took me, how do I explain this? If I went from 0 to 100K in the same vehicle that took me from 100K to a million, I would have hit a million much faster. So if you're in the same vehicle, I completely agree. But as time goes on and your net worth grows and your resources change, you're probably going to switch vehicles a little bit. And I don't think that's a bad thing. It just depends on your prerogative. And I think that it just depends on the vehicle. But once you make your first $100,000 from one vehicle, the likelihood of making a million from that same vehicle is very easy. Getting to a million was much easier than $100,000, in my opinion. I always wondered why people invest in stocks rather than crypto. Crypto seems to give more gains, or am I missing something? Just the risk. Crypto is still very risky. It's not really proven itself. We don't for sure know that crypto is going to be here in 50 years. We know for sure the stock market, unless the U.S. goes into nuclear war, will be here in 50 years. It's just the people just want that surety. Yeah, Jesus Christ. Okay, I answered this question a couple times. Okay. Okay. Are you ever going to answer your email so I can buy your shorting course? Everyone needs to understand we are in a whole new, more controlled world of crypto. I would agree for the most part. I answered this question a couple times. Hey, Z1, I answered this question already, homie. What do you think about Walrus? I don't think much about it. Again, I don't really care about meme coins right now. Remember my comment, Tyler. My guess would be June to July will be the altcoin season. John Oscar Diaz said that, or Jan, sorry. June to July. I'll remember that. Do you believe adding some gold right now is a good idea? Or is it better to wait for price to fall? To be honest, I don't have gold. So giving you my thought of whether or not I think adding gold is a good idea or not, I feel like, I don't know what the word is, but I feel like it's not like a good, like I shouldn't do that. Oh my goodness. Okay. Being vested and being a parent is most important. 5 kids makes for happiness and lack of hearing. Oh, hi, fella. The kitties are here. It might, Ryan. It might. And you just have to be okay with it. You have to be. What else are you going to do? You know what I'm saying? Like, what else are you going to do? I hope it doesn't too, but it might. And I'm okay with it. It is what it is. The 75-day lead on liquidity of Bitcoin pump is creeping up. Reminds me of your video about historic trends on no longer green lines. Yeah, we'll see. 90% of crypto, 95% of crypto is garbage, but Bitcoin is gold, ETH is Amazon, and Sol is like Google. You will be rich buying those three. The only thing that I kind of disagree with is Ethereum. I'm falling very much so out of love with Ethereum extremely fast, especially after going to Ethereum Denver. Do you see that Germany is going to print hella money? However, this seems bullish, which is all going to go into war equipment. Yeah, I mean, I don't think Germany is really going to have that much of an impact. Something to do with AI. I don't know exactly what, but probably like tokenized AI agents. I don't know. Yeah, that's a hard one. I have no idea, actually. There we go. Oh, is it not a meme coin? I saw Walrus and just assumed it was a meme coin. I think rather reasonably. I think the crypto market will adjust. I think it'll front run quantum computing. I'm not too concerned about it. I'm 23 years old, and I turned 24 soon, though. Kobe year. I would guess it depends on what your definition of financial security is, but I felt rather financially secure since I was about 22. Tariffs propel inflation, and Trump will bring more, so quantitative easing won't come soon. So why should we rise again the cycle? Yeah, good point. But things change fast. Remember, just because something's a certain way today doesn't mean it'll be that way tomorrow. Hey guys, just while we are doing the Q&A, please do remember, if you do find the things that I am saying valuable, head over to my new channel. Here, let me go back. Head over to my brand new YouTube channel. It is Tyler Teaches Crypto. It is linked in the description down below. Go check out this first video. It's I Made Millions in Crypto. Here's what I learned. It's 15 lessons that I've learned over the last 7 years that I think are very important. Go check that out. Again, don't forget, if you do want to learn all of these things that I'm talking about today, if you want to start refining your own strategy to start winning in crypto, to become a winning investor, check out that link down below. And if and only if you are an experienced trader, go get that 10% bonus on BTCC, where you can get to trading today. Back to questions. What should I eat, by the way? Why did you move out of your old setup into the living room? Also, Walrus is a project on Sweet. Is it not a meme coin, though? I was just hot upstairs. So I was like, fuck it. Let's just come downstairs. What do y'all think, though? Should I do more content down here? Like, I know that the animals are a little bit chaotic, but what do y'all think? Should I do more down here? I enjoy it. It feels kind of nice to see some light. Like, I get in that office. I'll be there for 15 hours at a time sometimes. Okay. The day we should be waiting for. What's on April 2nd? They're dependable or just hype? Both. Some are dependable and some are just hype. Shiba Inu is definitely not a dead coin, but it will be dead for a while, I think. Dead. I'm 21 and massively behind you. Doesn't matter, bro. Who gives a fuck? Sorry to be vulgar, my bad. But who cares? Like, I know an 18-year-old right now who has probably 4 times more money than I do. It doesn't matter. Makes no difference. We are all on our own isolated individual journey. Comparison is the theft of all joy. He can't. There's people around me, man, who when they were 23 years old, they had $30 million, $50 million. I don't care. It opens my eyes to what's reasonable. It opens to my eyes to what's on my plane, right? Because if it was on their plane, it could be on my plane. And the way that I look at money is just, again, it's all just vehicles. And if somebody was able to take their vehicle and create $50 million, why can't I do the same? Now, I don't have $50 million, but why can't I do the same thing, right? When I became a millionaire, it showed me like, hey, fuck, like I can do this, right? Like I actually have the capability to do this. And since I've had that mindset, I've opened it up to more of an abundance thought process, to where whenever I see somebody who's my age with a lot more money than I have, I'm like, okay, that's possible. Like I can do that as well. So if you do anything, which I don't talk, I hate talking like this because I feel like a douchebag, because I'm not flexing, and I hope you guys do understand. I'm not, genuinely, and I don't mean this in a bad way. I don't care if you think I'm cool. Makes no difference. But it just opens my eyes up to what's possible again. So if you do anything, please just look at it that way, and don't look at it in any other way. Okay. While Trump is playing games with the markets, it's no longer buy the rumor, sell the news. It's sell the rumor, short the news. Yeah, exactly. When I watched the live Bitcoin map, the US, South Korea, and Germany seem to buy the most. Yeah, seems that way. I don't have a great opinion on LDO, but I do think it's pretty strong. Living room setup is better. That's an interesting one. I think it's pretty cool. If you live downstairs, the leg don't come. No, I know. I have to put that bitch on the counter. Oh, my bad, Flora. Hey, hey, hey. Can you can you can you get out in front of my camera? Anyway. And now I know who Hitman is. That is me. That is the old me. Can we see your leg in this setup, or does it not work like that? Yo, Flora, get out my camera. Oh my god. Okay. I don't care if people have more money. Greed is a sin. We write our own story exactly. When I was 23, I had to move to another country to stay alive and started as a cleaner. Everyone has a different story and struggle. It's never too late to change your life. Hell yeah. Where did you learn everything? You seem so well off for 23. Fucking YouTube, dude. Honestly. You want to listen. I'm going to give you my life story in 2 minutes. When I was in school, I sold a bunch of candy to students because I wanted to make extra money so I could spend it on Fortnite. Okay. And Call of Duty. I also did spray paintings and sold those so I can make more money so I can buy stuff that I wanted, clothes, whatever. Okay. When I got to college, I started investing into stocks because I was a dishwasher and I was just tired of not making much money. This was right before college, actually. I started investing into stocks because I was tired of being a dishwasher, not making more money. Me investing into stocks made me want to start a YouTube channel because why not, right? Everyone else talking about what they're doing, I'm going to talk about what I'm doing. After making a YouTube channel, I started surrounding myself with other YouTubers, and they started teaching me the things that they went through so I could avoid them myself. The pandemic came around, and I started going, like, I doubled down, like tripled down on YouTube. And I just started making YouTube videos every single day. And then I also started talking about crypto and investing into crypto more heavily because I started investing into crypto just on the side, even though I didn't understand it. I just wanted to because the idea of a digital currency was interesting to me. But I started actually learning about it like 2019, 2020. 2020 was when I really went like head first in. I had already held Bitcoin for like 2 years, kind of. So bought some, sold some, whatever. From there, going into the crypto world, I started meeting even more people in the space. And as a result of meeting all of them, it started to open up my eyes to opportunities and how business actually worked because they were 4 or 5 years ahead of where I was. And so leveraging my network and leveraging the relationships that I had with all the people around me, plus just consistently being just obsessed with learning. I was obsessed with getting better at everything I was doing when business and YouTube. I started learning fast. And I started taking those lessons that I was learning and putting them into my portfolio, started making more money, took the money that I was making from my portfolio and reinvesting it into learning more. And I did that for years and years and years. And 5 years later, here we are. So here we are. It's not hard. Like, that wasn't like some crazy story. That was just start here, leverage network, leverage your resources, and leverage your fucking time. Stop wasting time. That's all people do is just waste time all goddamn day. Turn into a product. Okay. Anyway. What percent of your net worth do you think was created via crypto? A lot. Like 90%. Because even like the majority of my net worth has come from profits I've taken from crypto and my business is in crypto. Like 95% probably. The other 5 to 10% of just my gains in real estate. You know, like for example, the first house that I bought is worth maybe $20,000 or $30,000 more than when I bought it for something. Like I think I bought it for $195,000. I think it's worth $230,000. So, you know, that made it's a tiny, you know, 30, 40K isn't really a huge percentage of my total net worth, but it moves the needle up slowly and, you know, you get the point. He got in trouble every day at school because he talked too much. Now he talks for a future. See, she gets it. My mom gets it. I believe the market will go sideways for the remainder of the year and we'll have an all-seeing spray early, kind of like what happened last year. That's reasonable, maybe. Probably a stupid question, but do you ignore when your average cost per coin rises when UDC? I don't care. I don't care in the slightest. It's good. Everything is good. The economy will boom soon, and don't be scared. Buy. And if you have to round trip it, buy at the bottom, pick up quality coins. Not a horrible idea. Wow, houses are cheap in the U.S. Yeah, I mean it wasn't wasn't too crazy. Yeah. Tariffs kick in. You're not familiar with this. Oh yeah. I don't know why I thought you were talking about something outside of crypto. Like what? Yeah. I mean, we'll see. Right. Everyone expects that April 2nd is going to be the worst day ever. Like when tariffs kick in, that everything's going to go down. It's probably going to pump. Probably going to pump, but we'll see. See life going on in the background helps keep everything down to earth. Yeah. Alrighty. Last couple questions, guys. Last couple questions, and then we're gonna go ahead and jump off. I'm gonna be so stressed out tonight, dude. Oh my gosh, bro. When my teammates fight, I get so stressed, dude. I gotta like lock in. Ain't that right? Best guess for who these lizard people might be. I think it's the people who no one knows about. I think there are people behind politicians. I think there are lobbyists. I think there's people even on top of the government that we don't like, or atop the president that we don't know about. And I would assume it's all the same people. Don't you think Jasmine's building up a Kamehameha power to give the meanest uppercut with Mike Tyson's technique, seeing his macro descending channel? Well, now I have to go look. This motherfucker said a call. Yeah. Yeah, probably Stein. That is the gnarliest rip of a descending channel I've probably ever seen. That's ugly. Solana gonna pump for real, and I hate it. Incredibly. I would say I've been more content. And I think there's a difference between happiness and content. I think happiness is a short-term emotion. Like, for example, if one of my fighters wins tonight, I'll be happy. I think the idea of living in a state of happiness for permanent is a dream that people chase to only be led to disappointment. I think the idea of being happy is almost a fabrication. I think living in a consistent state of happiness is just not real. Because again, happiness to me is more of an emotional release, a chemical release that is a short-term emotion. By the way, I'm not a scientist. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but this is just my thoughts. But I think the idea of being content or satisfied to some degree is what people are actually chasing. And I've struggled my entire life to find contentness because I'm a pursuer and I love pursuit. I don't particularly love reaching goals, but I love the act and the art of going for them, right? Whenever I had fights, I loved the idea of being in fight camp and getting all this news and this attention and walking out for the fight. But once the fight was over, I was actually never really all that happy because it was over. And I've always struggled with contentness because I was always in the mindset that I wanted to reach a goal and be happy. But after self-reflection, I've come to recognize that I find my happiness or satisfaction or contentness in the pursuit of my goals. And it's a beautiful thing to think about the idea that as long as my brain functions, I will always have goals and things that I'm pursuing. And what that means is that knowing I'm someone who's in love with the act of pursuit, that means I can spend the majority of my life content. And shifting my brain and stop chasing a dream of happiness, it's changed my life. So that's my thoughts. I just wanted to say thank you. A friend told me about you, and I just started at your most recent video and went backwards for basically 3 days straight. I feel so much better. Happy to have you, Aaron. Much appreciated. And tell your friend I said thank you. Shout out to him or her. Or them. Did you buy any walrus? I don't have any walrus. That's the best answer there, my friend, regarding happiness. Much appreciated. I don't know if it makes sense or not. I don't know what the fuck I'm talking about, but that's my thoughts. 1977, 2012, stocks or crypto. Same games and trades. Cash accounts only. Stop looking for quick cash. Love that. Easy. Do you often look back at where you started on a random time or day while you're on your laptop and kind of laughing at this, wow, I did all this and time flies? Or being in your C8 and be like, yeah. I have those moments. I have those moments occasionally, but not frequently. And the reason why I don't have them frequently is because this is going to be a bit of a weird thing, but as I just mentioned to you before, my happiness or contentness comes from pursuit. The problem with that, though, is that looking backwards shows me how much of my pursuit is gone, right? So let me kind of break this down. I'm not trying to get sappy. I'm just going to explain it. But how do I explain this? I love the art of the story, right? I love chapter 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I love that progression. I love going from chapter to chapter to chapter, but it makes me a little sad when I look back to see how many chapters I've finished because I know I can't do them again. And so I struggle with that a little. And so I don't reflect often. I'd rather look forward because that's exciting. Looking backwards is a little bit like, oh, fuck, dude. Like I can't never go from having $0 to $1 million again. I can't make my first $1 million ever again. So I don't know. Maybe I need to work through that though at some point. I don't know. Wise dude for being so young. I appreciate that. Had a lot of great people around me. Shout out my mom. Do you think the state of the market is pure manipulation or is just a panic sell? I think we are reasonably falling. I think the crypto market is falling, and it should be. Economic uncertainty causes liquidity dependent asset classes to struggle. Crypto is a liquidity dependent asset class. What that means is that when there's a lot of money around, crypto does good. When there's not much money around, crypto does bad. And so in a period like this, when there's not a lot of money floating around, guess what's going to happen? Crypto's not going to perform that great. It's normal. I don't actually think like what we're seeing right now is all that shocking, personally. I don't think it's the healthiest way to look at life because it is hard to value things, right? It is hard to value progress. But fuck, I mean, what can you do? You know what I mean? I'll work through that one day. I think that's something I need to become more okay with. Like, I can't go back and that's okay. I do struggle with that though. What the fuck is Burger going, dude? I love crypto. Oh my gosh. All right. My goal currently is to reach 100K in this bull market and buy a house to rent it out and put all the profit back in the bear market to prepare the next bull market. Is that a good idea? What do you think? I don't think it's a terrible idea. I don't think it's a terrible idea. But what I will tell you is that's a very specific game plan, right? Your game plan is very, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that, I'm going to do that, and I'm going to do that. And if I'm going to give you a piece of advice, the likelihood is that by the time you make $100,000 in crypto, your aspirations and your thoughts are going to change because you've learned more. To go from 0K to 10, from 10 or 0 to 10K, 10K to 50, 50 to 75, 75 to 100, you have to have a consistently evolving mindset. Meaning you have to be feeding yourself more data, more variables to be able to output new data and new variables. So simply put, you got to learn more things to make more money generally. Now, some people can make the same amount, like people can make a lot of money knowing the same exact things that they know now, but the reality of it is that the more money you make, the more problems that are going to pop up in different places. So therefore, you almost always have to learn more. Now, the reason I say this is because when you learn more things, it's going to be obviously evolving and adapting your mindset. It's going to be changing the way you think about things because you're being fed new variables. And those new variables will almost always alter your game plan to some degree that your plan itself will change. So I have many goals written on boards and stuff all around my house that have shifted as a result of input in new data. And so have that as a general outline of what you want to accomplish, but don't be stuck on it. Like, I have to do this, I have to do that, because the likelihood is it will shift a bit. It will shift a bit. I wouldn't be betting on that right now. I appreciate that. I'll try. I've made a lot of mistakes, guys. I've done some dumbass shit here in life, but I try to learn and I try to progress. Lessons, corrections, progress. I live by that. Someone make it a shirt, I'll buy it. I am a person of logic and see everything and do a lot of things if it's logically. So sometimes I don't know how to react or think about something. But I'm fixing this mindset. I feel that way as well. And I don't think it's a terrible way to look at things, but I do definitely believe that there are variations in life as a result of emotions, and you need to just be okay with it. Right? Like, you can't just look at everything logically and rationally, especially like, okay, I have a wife. Anyone with okay, I gotta tread very lightly here, but sometimes I have a wife, and I'm a man who I'm an emotional man sometimes, but I'm not extremely emotional, right? But women sometimes that like they look like they're much better in tune with their emotions, right? And so they're gonna feel things that sometimes I just don't fucking understand, right? And so it's like something can make someone sad, and I might not. I could be like, hey, that does not, like, logically you shouldn't be sad about that, but that's not how life works. Emotions create variation, and so you need to be able to factor in the variation of emotion, or you're just going to come across as an asshole, I think. Where are you? I just see floating glasses. CTE, new crypto meta. Yeah, I think so. I think if you want to get good at crypto, you got to get at least 6 concussions. I'm joking. God. Yeah. What happened to global M2 money supply? I haven't looked at it. Let's see. What is it doing? It is. It's down. Oh, wait, no, it's still pretty consistently climbing from what I can tell. But I don't have a good reliable chart up right now. Show her cooking TikToks where you go. Wow, thanks, Mom. Pete gets it. What a fun stream. I love streaming. When was the last time that I streamed? Let me go look. I feel like we're gonna have so many chats like this because crypto's so goddamn boring. This shit really boring. I'm not gonna lie. This is probably the most boring crypto I've been in a while. You push through. You know, you gotta stick to your guns, and you just gotta stick to what you do. You can't just sit here and run from the market every time that we have boring times. But dude, this shit's so boring. I ain't gonna lie. Y'all feel that or no? Yo, what watch is that? This is one of my favorite watches. I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but one of my favorite watches. Rolex Datejust 2017. Jubilee bracelet, fluted bezel. One of my go-tos. It's usually in my vault, but I had to pull it out today for the funsies. Boring month, yeah, no, totally. Appreciate it, Hack. Hack, go buy one. Stop fucking around. Bitcoin is manipulated by the lizard people. Go on Monero. What state do you live in? Shows the Rolex and get asked what state I live in. I live in Louisiana. And my address is. What are you, Armando? What are you holding? Shout out to you, by the way, man. Plugging other things 3 to 5. Oh my God. Get off my screen. Does your girlfriend invest too? She's my wife, Steinar. My girlfriend and I do stocks and crypto. She's making a killing, luckily, but in about 10 to 15 years, we should be able to well up. Yeah, she is. She buys, I think, $100 or $200 a week of VOO, but she doesn't own any crypto. We're exposed enough to crypto through me. What car do you drive daily? We have a Mercedes GLE 350, or GLE. There's a GLC 350E, some shit like that. We have a 2021 GLC 350E, I believe, or GLE 350. It's one of those two. That's my daily. That's the one that I do prefer to drive. But sometimes I'll pull out. I have a 2021 C8 Corvette Stingray. I'll drive it every now and then. But the Mercedes is way nicer, honestly. Yeah, lock in, Steinar. If you're going to be the head of the Noti gang. How many tats? I just have this, but this is compromised of like, I think I have 6 total. Oh, nice. You lived in Baton Rouge now. What part of California did you move to? The idea still T. What do you mean? I have ADA, AVAX, ETH, and Sonic, but bought most of mine in November, December. Why don't you own any Bitcoin? Yeah, Baton Rouge ain't too far away. Oh yeah, no. So it must be a C class. Got it. I think it's a GLC 350. Yeah, GLC 350E. It's a hybrid. How did you meet Mr. Sosa Aces? He signed up for the school. He just signed up for the school, and then we met, and I was like, holy fuck, this guy's better than me. And so, yeah, Sosa is the most talented trader I've ever seen in my entire life. And it's like by a far. And maybe not even particularly just because he makes a fuck ton of money, but also he has like, it's almost like if he was walking around outside at night, I would assume he has night vision. Like he could just see through the night. Like he has just night vision. Like he's like, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but he is the most talented trading individual I've ever met in my entire life. 1 week ago, I mentioned in one of your videos that we were in a bear market and everyone was judging me. Do you admit that we're in a bear market at the beginning of April Bitcoin? No. So I don't believe we're in a bear market quite yet. It's just not confirmed yet. Listen, I'm not saying you're wrong. And I don't think my subscribers were judging you because you said everyone was judging you. I think that's a little dramatic. Because my subscribers aren't really that like toxic. If we get confirmation, sure, yeah, we might be in a bear market. We surely might. I've just again, I believe in confirmations, right? And so let me give you an example of the way that I think. Okay, Let's look at Bitcoin real quick. So when Bitcoin was going up right here, many people were saying, hey, Bitcoin's back, Bitcoin's back, Bitcoin's back, right? While Bitcoin's going up. I said, we've not broken out of this descending channel yet, so it's not confirmed, so I don't agree. And well, what do you know? Bitcoin gets rejected. Okay, let's imagine if Bitcoin did this and pumped. Did it make me wrong by saying, hey, we've not broken out yet? I'm not saying we're in a bull market, we're back in the bull market. No, of course not. I was just saying I'm waiting for confirmations. Did it make these people wrong or right? Sure, I mean, they were right, but the reality is they were guessing. They were guessing we were back. I was waiting to confirm that we were back. We were both right, but I believe mine was based off of actual data. This was based off of emotion. And so that's kind of my perspective with the bear market. We might be in a bear market, but I haven't got the confirmations yet. You know, one of the first big ones is whether or not we lose the 50-week simple moving average. We're still above it. How can you say we're in a bear market when we're above the 50-week simple moving average? Look here, look here, here, right? Look at history. So that's kind of my thinking. That's the way that I shape my analysis. I miss Po' Boys and Soul Foods. Yeah, you should. Come back. I wanted to cycle from alts into Bitcoin and buy during lower prices. I've been buying MSTR as a proxy so far. Not my best decisions. Yeah, I got you. Does he have a YouTube? He doesn't have a YouTube channel. He should, but he wants to be a little anonymous. All right, Rob. See you, brother. I'm about to leave too as well. I forgot I have to go coach these boys. I got to get some food before. Double income. You crypto and she TikTok cook. Just an idea. Nah, she doesn't. She's not really big on the social media thing. That was kind of one of my things that I really loved about her. You know, I'm in the world of social media and it's great. Don't get me wrong, but it can be a little toxic. And so I just didn't really want that in my home life as well. But it's a great idea. All right, I think we're going to go ahead and roll out. Let me show some stuff to you guys real quick. One more time, just got to shill. First and foremost, if you guys do find my content valuable, do please go check out Tyler Teaches Crypto. It is linked down below. It is a channel where it's completely dedicated to education. Speaking of education, head to the link down below and go check out the school. We only have 2 spots. I don't think someone would have signed up already, but let's just look. Yeah, we still have 2 spots remaining for the executive tier. Those are open today. They're probably going to be gone by tomorrow night. So feel free to go check those out if you want. Premium tier is a great place to start if you do want access to kind of all the things that we do. But again, our strategy is very simple. We take crypto investors like yourselves. We give you value to create strategies because strategies create winning investors. And winning investors come with gains. And I mean, you can see it, you know. The gains that this community generates is absolutely absurd. Hundreds of thousands of dollars a week at this point. So feel free to go check that out down below. And if you are an experienced trader and an experienced trader only, no beginners allowed, you can go get this 10% bonus on all first-time deposits between $500 and $100,000 over on BTCC. Guys, it's up to $10,055 per user. So it's literally free money. Go check that out. Go let me know what you think. And yeah, we'll be back. I'm going to be busy today and maybe tomorrow. I have a couple boys coming over. We're going to be recording some B-roll and some vlog footage and stuff. So I'm not quite sure if I'm going to make a video or live stream tomorrow, but do stay tuned. I'll keep you updated. Oh, let me show this real quick as well. I forgot. One sec. If you do want some behind the scenes footage, I might have logged me out. That'd be annoying. Yeah, it logged me out. It's fine. Oh wait, one second. I can probably log back in. One second. What's my Instagram handle? I don't even know what it is. Hold on one second. I want to show something. It's fine. I have an Instagram. I will link it down below. Feel free to go check that out. I do post a bunch of content on there. Here, I'll tell you what it is. It is I post some behind the scenes footage. It is Tyler Hill YT_. Here you go. Still pretty new, still pretty small, but I do like post some stuff on here for you all. If that is interesting to you, please do go follow me on Instagram. And yeah, I hope you guys have an absolutely fantastic day. It was always great to kind of sit around and chat. So shout out to everyone who's been here. Nan, Stein, Jimmy, Josh, Baby Shark, Around Town, everyone. Let me give us a couple more shout outs. Reba, Pete, Rob, Christian, Armando, Ben, everyone. Thank you so much for joining in. I hope you all have an absolutely fantastic day. And I can't wait to see you all.